When I became the principal at Reed Spring High School, they tell you a lot when you come in not to change everything really fast. So when I started thinking about Reed Spring High School, as I had been here the last 3 years as the assistant principal, what were some things that needed to change? But to really get a good understanding of that, you have to talk to your people. So as I talked to teachers throughout the spring, what was the biggest thing they saw in need of change at the high school? And really our guided study hall system kept coming up. Although a good system when it was put into place, it had kind of ran its course, it had become dry, and it had lost, I think, the purpose that it was set out to do. So really just having that conversation with teachers, listening to what they had to say, and then starting to think about some options to move forward. And to do that, you really have to form a leadership team and start discussing different options with them and talking about solutions. So when I presented this to the leadership team about this being the biggest need that the teachers presented me with, I let them just start thinking about what could it be that we could produce in the high school or put into place a system that would work for teachers. It didn't have to be something that another school was doing. It could be original. And it just, in the end, it had to work for us. And as we sit here today, the draft is not something that I think every school should do or that is the silver bullet. I just think it's something that our school kind of put together to fit our needs. And that's the most important thing. You have to make everything you do work for you. And if it doesn't work, you have to make some tweaks and make adjustments to make it work for you. So as we started to talk about what type of system would work for us, going to the research, what does PLC say about interventions, what were our teachers saying were the biggest needs, how could we provide a system where teachers played a major role in driving what we do. The draft just started to kind of come to be, and over about a 4 or 5 month period, it really started to take shape. But it wouldn't have happened without the input of all kinds of staff in the building, even staff who aren't on the leadership team. We had staff who had strengths that they could lend some ideas to this. So it was really a staff-wide collaboration to come up with a solution for a problem that the teachers really said was hampering learning in the school.
So one of the reasons I came here to work was because I knew that this place was very student-centered. I knew that we were trying very hard to use the cutting-edge education technology. I use the word technology, but I knew that was what was going on here, and I knew that I would get to be a part of that. And lo and behold, 3 or 4 years later, I am a part of that. We're sitting here during a principal transition last summer with the leadership team, the teacher leadership team, and our job is basically to come up with ideas to make things better for kids, make things better for teachers, and help teachers make things better for kids. And as we're sitting around brainstorming, one of the things that comes up is Hogwarts. And I know it sounds crazy, but we're trying to find a way to turn our study hall, our homeroom system, we call it guided study hall, into a more competitive kind of thing. And so one of the ideas we came up with was, well, let's just turn our student body into a series of houses like they have in the Harry Potter books. And of course, the English teacher got right on board with that. And we thought if we had 4 houses with 600 kids, wow, that's 150 kids in a house. Surely we can make this work competitively. And then you start putting the professors into into the mix, and then they start competing because on Harry Potter, it's the kids and the professors making things work. So we abandoned the whole Hogwarts houses thing pretty quickly, but what was left was this idea that we're going to have these large teams of teachers and kids, and that hopefully not everybody probably, but that most of the people in the school would get into the idea of, let's be competitive with each other. Let's see if we can win something. And the things that you might win are, a day out at the movies, or, going skating, or going doing some laser tag or something like that. Something that for kids was a really, big deal. And something that for the teachers we could gloat about during our teachers' meetings. So, and let me tell you how this worked, because it is working. And the things that aren't working, that's the coolest part of this, is that we've found ways to make it work. So, if anybody wants to know the secret to this, and yeah, I think we have a secret here. I really do. And I don't think I'm being ridiculous when I say this. The secret is we've always had great administrators. I mean, we've got the best administrators I've ever worked for here. I hope that's a raise coming. But what they did when we put this together was they put us in a room and they said, "What do you want to do?" We come up with the Hogwarts thing. We had it all worked out. We had, a point system. I mean, we really had it all worked out. And the next meeting we came to then, they had figured out all the stuff that wasn't going to work, because of course they were privy to that information. And they put together this thing called the draft. So what's the secret? The secret is, and if you're an administrator listening to this, please, for goodness sakes, I can't say this strongly enough. If you hire good people, good, creative, collaboratively thinking, critically thinking, with the ability to communicate, see how they just worked in the 4 C's? If you will hire people who are good at that, put them on your design team, your leadership team, whatever you want to call it, let them do everything that they possibly can to make things better for kids and students. And then once they've got that question answered, you can come in and do whatever it is you want to do. The secret is leadership who understands what leadership is, and that it's not the same as management. And that's the secret we have. You want our secret? Lead your people, don't manage them.
Okay, so you've heard about all the other nuts and bolts of how everything's going on. Here's the nuts and bolts of how this all works. So a day or two before the draft, our secretary, Jeannie, sends out a Google spreadsheet that lists all the card status for all the students, whether it be gold card, silver card, bronze card, and gets the teachers kind of some time to sit there and game plan. Here's the students I need to draft, and more importantly, what intervention it is that they want to do this time. And that could be several different things. That could be an intervention regarding ACT test prep. It could be over a specific standard or something to that nature that they need to be working on, that they noticed a lot of their students are struggling with. Could be a relationship building time, sometime where they had the opportunity to just sit down and talk with students more from a behavior aspect on things that they need to improve on, or trying to get to know the students better and get them to a point where they are more working towards our grade. So there's a lot of different options and opportunities there. On our Thursday morning late starts, we get together and we'll have our meetings in our multi-purpose room, which we're heading down to right now, where all the staff comes together at that point. Now, they may have game planned about the students they want to draft, but nothing's guaranteed that that's the way things are going to go. So when we get there, we have food, we bring in breakfast pizzas, we got coffee, we got juice, we got milk. We try to make it a big deal, a draft party, so to speak. And all the teachers are all geared up, and they kind of know who they're going to be with. They're sitting in their teams that they sit in. And whenever Dr. Suter's ready, we open up that Google spreadsheet to where it's now open and live and able to be edited by all the teachers, and the draft has begun. Now, it's not like your typical NFL draft where everyone takes turns. It's basically a mass chaos where you'll have teachers just going crazy trying to select the students that they want, students that they have targeted, and see that, yes, I want this kid, I want this kid. And what that has done, and this has been a great byproduct, you'll have students that want to be drafted by multiple teachers, and it forces those conversations. Here's why I want that student. Here's why I need that student in my class. And they get a chance to talk about, why one teacher might need that student over another teacher, or how they can share. It opens up those conversations to find the best fit, the best need for that student and for that 3-week cycle. And then what it also has done is we get to the point where there might be some students that are undrafted, that have not been selected for whatever reason. And we start writing those names on the board as we get towards the end of the draft. And then it's more of to the standpoint of, I've got a good connection with that kid. I can work with him. If no one else wants him, I'll take him. I've got a student here that I need to be able to work with, so on and so forth.
So Dr. Suter approached me with an idea for his draft, and he asked me if I could build him a spreadsheet for it. One of the things we wanted was for the spreadsheet to be accessible by all teachers, and that's why we used Google Drive and Google Sheets and Google Drive, and that way all the teachers can be looking at it at the same time and using it at the same time. What we did was we put all of the students on a tab by grade, so the 9th graders are on one tab, the 10th graders are on a different tab. We listed the students, their beginning card status, gold, silver, or bronze, and their team name. The secretaries have to put the card status and team name in for the students, and then everything else is pulled over automatically. We have the intervention, the teacher doing the intervention, etc. For each of the grades. I do have a students per teacher page so that we can look quickly and see how many students each teacher has. So if we have a teacher with maybe only 8 or 10 kids, we know that we need to look at that and see if they need some more. And then we also listed the students per interventionist so that they can look and see which kids they're supposed to be working with quickly. We have a tab that lists the teachers, what team they are in, and then tallies the points. It also tallies the points by team and the medal count. The teacher list and the team we have to enter in, but once those teachers are listed, it's automatically pulled over. So if we need to make a change, we make it once on the teacher list and everything else is automatic. I have after we had gotten this started, Dr. Suter asked me to make a listing of homeroom teachers and what teams their students were in, and what teachers, what interventionists, so that the homeroom teachers could tell their kids where to go quickly. And then I also have a hidden spreadsheet that I use to make all the calculations. So, one of the issues that arose after we got started was when we had a new student come in, the secretaries were adding a line to the spreadsheet rather than adding the student to the bottom of the list and resorting, which meant that the formulas were not getting copied over correctly. But once we caught that and they started adding students to the bottom of the list and then resorting, we haven't really had many issues since. So this has been quite a process, and we know that there are others that are interested, and we're most definitely willing to answer any questions, show anything that we need to show, and help anybody out, so that you guys can get involved in this as well.
So once the draft is complete and all the teachers have their students that they've selected and everything, now's the fun part of getting that information out to the students. So we have kind of a couple of different ways that we do that. The biggest way is we use our one-to-one system that we have in our Google or our Gaggle email system, and the teachers send out an email saying, hey, you've been drafted and you've been selected to meet my guided study hall, and so students know exactly where to show up for the next 3-week period. So, hey, speaking of that, Pops, how's it going, man?
It's going good.
Hey, what card status did you end up with this time?
I had a silver this time.
Silver. Still pretty good, pretty good. So, who drafted you?
Davis did.
Davis? Why did Mr. Davis draft you?
I think he drafted me. It was really up in the air. I'm about ready to go back to a gold, so I figured that he was just getting me to help other students in the class because I'll be going right back to gold anyway.
Okay, awesome. Now, how did he let you know?
He emailed me.
He emailed you through the system. All right, well, good deal. Well, hey, man, have a good day. We'll see you. In Popowitz's example right there, not necessarily he needed to help with grades, but also the teacher saw him as being a silver card student as a student that might be able to assist other students in this class. So there's lots of different ways / reasons that a teacher might draft a student.
This last draft, I had a silver card, and so Mr. Lynch drafted me, and he seems to always draft me because he always pushes me to do my homework, and because he knows that if he doesn't draft me, then somebody else is, and then I'm not going to get my homework done, my grades go down, and I think it's pretty cool that he always drafts me because we always have a good time, and we always seem to play card games, and then I do my homework assignments, and he keeps me honest and pushes me. I think that the draft is a better system than last year's because last year, instead of just sitting in one classroom, we get to actually go out. So I mean, if I need help in science, I can go to a science teacher, they can draft me, or English, I can go to an English teacher and they can help me out with what I need. Teachers, they just seem to care more this year about you getting your homework done and getting all your assignments in, and they care more about your grades.
Really to let your guard down as an administrator, I think one of the best things that happened is when I presented this to the entire staff at the beginning of the year, one of the best things that I said probably throughout the whole process was, I'm not going to guarantee this even works.
So one of my top students comes to me the other day, and she is livid. Where's my gold card? Why don't I get a gold card? How come I don't have a gold card? I need a gold card. Why do I have a silver? I've never gotten a silver. Why should I have a silver? And what she didn't realize was she'd been absent one too many days. She'd never been absent before. That's why.
One of the administrative perks of the draft is getting an opportunity to go around and kind of check on how things are going throughout the school.
Kids are using this. They're capitalizing on this. I mean, where does this happen?
Hey, I think the school store's open. We'll check that out.
The draft doesn't work unless you do.
So where else does a kid, where else is there bloodshed in the hallways because a kid gets angry that teacher A didn't draft him?
That's not covered under workers' comp.
So
let's go take a look and see how things are going in the gym.
GD, has anybody seen Coach Moeller?
Where else does this happen? I mean, really, where does this happen?
Hogwarts? What is that?
It happens here. It happens here.
And remember, school can be fun.